What about reopening the border with the United States, which remains closed? Some new polling data suggests that, at least in the short term, it appears many Canadians are okay with that. Bloomberg's Shelly Hagan wrote about it and joins us with some more details. Shelly, tell us a little bit more about the findings.
So the survey does show that most Canadians would agree and support the extension of the border closure, the land border closure between the U.S. and Canada. In this poll by Angus Reid Institute, it shows that nearly half of all Canadians and respondents in the survey agree that the border should be closed until at least the fall, if not the end of the year. So that suggests that Canadians are still a bit worried about the path of the virus, COVID-19, and its variants, as we're still trying to ramp up vaccinations here in Canada. And on top of that, most Canadians, about 75% of Canadians, do agree that there should be some proof of vaccination or vaccine passport in order to eventually travel internationally.
Yeah, I guess travel certainly is the key one to watch for, especially as a lot of Canadians, I imagine, are watching what's happening in the U.S. over the summer months and a lot more people doing traveling. Is that coming up as one of the key issues that people are curious about? I mean, some people saying, okay, let's get things under control, let's keep the border closed. But others, I would imagine, want to see more flexibility so they can get out and travel again.
Certainly. I mean, travel, tourism, hospitality, all these sectors are very important for the economy, and they have been hit very hard during COVID-19. It's come to a near halt during COVID-19, international travel. And so people are going to be very eager to travel again when they can. We have seen that in the U.S. as they've gotten their vaccination rates up and reopened the economy. And so certainly business groups are calling for some type of reopening of the border. And Canadians do, though, want to see really these vaccination rates get higher, the virus cases lower, and see evidence that the vaccines are working before they want the government to reopen the economy.
Shelly, you cover the economy as opposed to the political landscape, but obviously there's been a lot of buzz around whether or not we're going to see some kind of federal election. And I would imagine these kind of issues are at the center of the Liberals' minds right now.
Of course. And I think the fact that most Canadians would like the border closed until at least the fall, I think that's going to help Justin Trudeau and his party because they've been keeping the border closed for so long. Whereas we do have some calls from the Conservative Party and other business groups. They're really trying to get the border reopened more quickly. So the fact that most voters right now are happy with the way that Justin Trudeau has handled the border and the closing of the border suggests that's a win for them on that side. And that may make Justin Trudeau and his party more likely to extend the border closures further. But we'll really have to see about that. I think the reopening of the border is really going to depend on the vaccination rate here in Canada and the path of the virus as we're seeing the provinces start to reopen their economies.